All right, we are live. Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We'll let this puppy populate. Let you fans join us that want to discuss Bama and Georgia. 41-24. Alabama gets the win. Dunaway. It is the Culver's Saturday breakout. Culver's
blown up.
Oh, I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Boy, I have seen some Alabama games that have blown me away.
Yep.
I am not sure in recent memory I've seen one that blows me away more than the outcome of this one.
Honest to goodness, I thought I was coming to the passing of the torch today. I was hoping maybe Alabama would be back next year and battle Georgia again, but I didn't think there was any way the team I saw in Jordan-Hare Stadium was going to handle Georgia today. But not only did they handle it, they dominated them, and they're now the SEC champions. So hats off to that team. And I've got to start with the offensive line. We spent 5 days, 6 days talking about an offensive line that gave up 7 sacks and could have been more to a 6-6 Auburn team at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And then tonight against this great pass rush, they did a really, really good job. And then Bryce Young was able to take care of the rest and I think win the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah. I'm going to turn on the comments here. I don't have the comments on, Jimmy.
It's very loose, laid back. No problem.
That's right. And I'm going to have to lean forward to see them because I'm also getting older. Lance got $1,000 from Charles.
Lance did. Got a steak from me. Or
right.
Was it a planned steak all along is the question.
Because, let's see, Joy says, by the way, Jimmy Landmine strikes again. So is this all your grand plan all week is to do it this way?
No, it doesn't work like that. If it worked like that, it'd be too easy. I really thought Georgia would win the game, so I had no problem. But as my wife is texting me, she said, hey, that's one $300 steak I don't mind you buying. So, there's some steaks that hurt worse than others, and this one doesn't hurt too bad.
Kelly says, damn, I can't wait to hear the show on Monday. We can't wait to do the show on Monday.
Yeah,
so
that's what we're giving you a little bit
right.
here. Hey, go when we're done here, or even go now, we don't care.
Yeah, open a new window, keep this open.
Next round store. We've got 2 T-shirts up right now for you guys that you can go buy, and we think they're good T-shirts.
Now, I'm going to do this, here, I'll do this real low tech here.
There you go.
There's the first one.
Still my conference.
Still our conference. Where's the camera? It's the Curb Your Enthusiasm.
That's my favorite.
You like that one? Yeah.
Spelled K-I-R-B.
Right.
Almost like Kirby, without violating any name, image, and likeness.
Any trademarks on either side of that situation, by the way. So you can go get those right now, nextrail.store, nextrail.store. Jeff says Bryce won the Heisman Trophy with that performance tonight.
Yes.
People, believe it or not, people have already voted for the Heisman, which is insane because your vote is not even due until I think tomorrow.
I think it's Monday by noon.
So it's stupid that people have already voted. So some people have already voted, and maybe that performance, even with the game-winning drive at Jordan-Hare, cost him. But boy, if you held your vote until tonight, with C.J. Stroud sitting at home in Columbus watching football, and Bryce Young on this field behind us playing, I don't know how you go anybody but Bryce Young.
If you have voted before today for anybody, who do you vote for if it's not Bryce Young in this whole thing? Who would you, if you've already voted before today and it wasn't for Bryce Young, who are you rushing to the ballot box to vote for?
Yeah, I really have no earthly idea. Because it's been a difficult discussion this year, who gets the Heisman. It's been a difficult discussion, but the last drive in Auburn to win the Iron Bowl, the overtime in Auburn to win the Iron Bowl, and then what the guy did out there, that's as good a closing argument as I can remember many people having in a Heisman discussion.
Unbelievable. And, if that defense of Georgia is what they say it is, a generational defense, he just took them out behind the woodshed. That's what he did tonight.
Yep. If you were rushing, then maybe Will Anderson. Rushing, maybe Will Anderson. I don't know. Will Anderson, I think, had a chance to kind of jump in that lead at the Iron Bowl. He had a good Iron Bowl, but, he didn't have like the 4-sack Iron Bowl that some people thought he could have. He was fantastic again out here tonight, but I don't, sacks are a big number. I do think there'll be a push for a defensive player. I think it's going to be hard not to go Bryce Young.
I think Bryce Young will win the Heisman. I think if there's 4 people invited to New York as we go live with the Heisman thing again, I would say Bryce Young. I would say I think Will be there.
Yeah.
And I think Aiden Hutchinson will be there, defensive pass rusher for Michigan. And I think Kenneth Walker of Michigan State will be there. I think those will be the 4.
All right, so let's talk about this game that happened behind us here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium tonight, the 2021 SEC Championship game. It is our post-game reaction presented by Culver's. Welcome to Delicious. There'll soon be 2 great Birmingham locations of Culver's. Right now, 150 and 459 in Stadium Trace, and coming soon, you can find them right there on Highway 280, 119 Tattersall Park. Culver's, welcome to Delicious. It was 10-0 Georgia. That is so easy to forget based on the way this game turned out. 10-0 Georgia. We talked about it in our video earlier. There was this feeling among the Georgia people, Dunaway, of inevitability. They were coming here for the coronation. They were coming here to take the crown. They were coming here to have an exorcism of the Nick Saban and Alabama demons. And when it was 10-0, I don't know that the feeling was ever greater than that at that moment. And from that point on, Alabama owned the football game.
Yeah, and you will give me the crowd was, I don't think it got 80-20, maybe 70-30,
yeah.
But it was a
Georgia crowd.
It was a Georgia crowd. It was a tough atmosphere early on, 10-0, and then Alabama outscored them 41-10,
yeah.
41-14.
Yeah.
41-14. They outscored the number 1 team in the country from that point. And they had a defensive turnover. And Kirby talked in the post game. You can't turn the ball over, and you can't let people get 60-yard touchdowns and expect to win. And that is true. You cannot. You can't do those things. But they did tonight, and instantly 2 things happened. One, you go, hey, hats off to Jordan-Hare Stadium that made Alabama look like they looked last week, right? You got to give credit to what home field advantage you have down at Auburn. And number 2 is people are now going to start to question Georgia's schedule. Who have they played, and how tough are they? But I don't, I'm not going to question Georgia. I think we saw the 2 best teams in college football here tonight. I think we'll see them again in the national championship. And Brown, all I have to do is cue up 2011 for Alabama fans to know how motivated Georgia will be to play Alabama again for a national championship, the one that matters more than the SEC championship. And Kirby Smart was in that locker room, and I think he's going to just rewind that and say, here's what we did in 2011, guys. Here's the path. We got that chance.
Yeah, but I think the question a lot of people will be asking, Dunaway, between now and then, do you do it with Stetson Bennett? Because Stetson Bennett, I think, showed you here last night. And this is back-to-back seasons this has happened to him against Alabama. He's looked good. He goes up against an elite team, and he was a liability for Georgia out there. Now, he made some big plays with his feet, but Dunaway, he almost had a pick 6 in the opening possession. Jordan Battle dropped that one. He didn't drop the second one. He threw another interception to Helms, just a key interception he threw to Helms in the red zone there. Stetson Bennett was not good for Georgia tonight.
So his confidence level, he had all the swagger. Kirby was sticking with him because he'd won the team over. He was making all the right calls, all the right plays. But now, you do question that. But when you make it all the way to here, Brown, and you lose this game against Alabama, but you're in the playoffs, and you knew you were going to be the playoffs coming in, do you really go back in the next 3 weeks and start over with JT Daniels? Why, you didn't switch all the way.
Yeah.
So is JT looking that much better in practice? So that is a concern. That's what Kirby Smart's making $6 million, $7 million, soon to be $9 million, $10 million, whatever it's going to be a year. He's making that money to make this kind of decision, and he's also got to be the best sports psychologist in the business, like his old boss Nick Saban is, because he's somehow got to put Humpty Dumpty back together moving forward.
I think Stetson Bennett is good enough, though, to get them back to the national championship game. I think he's good enough to beat.
So is Jake Fromm.
Yeah, and that's the problem. I think he's good enough to beat whoever they end up playing. Let's assume now they play Michigan. Michigan's, I think, right now up 14-3 on Iowa as we talk. Let's assume that's who they play. I think Stetson Bennett's probably good enough to beat Michigan. I think that. So, you would have, if you go to JT Daniels, you just got to think he's the guy that makes the difference against Alabama. He's a guy you barely played for months. I don't see how you make that move.
Yeah, I don't either. I think you got to ride with Stetson Bennett and go and try to get your defense back, man. That's where the story is tonight. I mean, they scored 24 points. 24 points wins what, every one of their games this
Yeah,
year?
yeah, they would not have lost a game. 17 was the season high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they got 24 points out of it tonight against an Alabama defense here in a virtual home game in Atlanta. But my question is going to be, what happened to Dan Lanning's and Kirby Smart's defense? Is it a surprise that Jamison Williams is fast? It's not a surprise. So, I mean, how could he run wide open down the middle of the field for a 67-yard touchdown? I mean, that's the stuff Kirby's got to go back and, probably pull his hair out.
Let's see. Boy, man, we have got a lot of conversation there. February points out it was the A&M refereeing crew tonight. We did the Bama A&M game. I don't know if that's important, but I think it is.
Alabama exercised those demons.
But they did. Michael wants to know if Lance found booze. Lance put out an APB for miniatures because he got to the stadium and found out there was no alcohol here.
He did. He
did. Did he find the booze? Did you text him?
Yeah, he had some great Alabama fans who hooked him up during the game.
Yeah. Alabama up 12 on Gonzaga in basketball right now. This will be one of the great days in Alabama athletics history.
Alabama's up 12 on Gonzaga.
55-43, 17 minutes to go. That's a long tick. That's a long way to go. That is a long way to go. But we're here to talk Alabama football. It's the Culver Saturday Breakout instant reaction to Bama beating Georgia, the Crimson Tide, winners 41-24, shocking the football world with a 17-point win over the Georgia Bulldogs. Turning point of the game. Turning point of the game for me. Georgia drives down and scores, ties it up, 17 all?
Yep.
And Alabama's getting the ball coming out. They've got 2:06 on the clock, all three timeouts.
Nick Saban always has all.
Nick Saban always has all his end of the half timeouts. This time he used them because they had the ball. They drive down the field. Bryce Young runs it in for the touchdown. They come out of the locker room. They score back-to-back possessions. Georgia had it for a kneel down. Back-to-back possessions, 14 points. Essentially, the game, it was pretty close to being over at that point.
It was. Alabama scored on 5 consecutive possessions against a team that didn't give up 17 points this year.
Incredible.
They scored on 5 consecutive possessions.
Yeah, and Bryce Young, in the process of doing that, became the all-time SEC championship game passing yardage leader and total yardage leader for a single game. So, total offense, passing yardage, Bryce Young now holds that record. Incidentally, the record he broke was Mac Jones from last year. So, that was a heck of a night for Bryce Young. I was blown away at how well he played. Absolutely blown away at how well.
But it isn't as much the stats, right, as it is what he was doing mentally. We know how complicated Nick Saban and Kirby Smart are with their defensive schemes and with their blitz packages, and just coming up and deciding whether or not you're going to get blitzes or they're going to drop off and stuff. Hats off to Bryce Young, not for the 400-plus yards passing, but for mentally getting that offensive line in the right place, getting B-Rob. How about Brian Robinson?
Oh, what a gutsy performance.
To get that guy to play, but mentally, Bryce Young, as much as anything else tonight, just so impressive.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Robinson, if he didn't write his name in Alabama lore tonight, 16 carries, 55 yards on that leg.
Yep.
But, Bryce Young, 3 carries, 40 yards. Alabama ran for 115 yards on that Georgia defense.
What did Georgia end up with?
Because, there were a lot of people saying Alabama can't even run the ball. It's going to be 115 rush yards. Georgia had 109. Alabama outrushed Georgia. Now, I thought Alabama's defense could hold Georgia to around 100 yards.
Yeah, you said pregame 125.
125 was the number, yeah.
You said if Alabama holds them to 125 on defense and if Bryce passes for 300 plus, there's a path to victory for Alabama. They hit both of them.
They hit both those, and there was the path to victory out there. Now, I couldn't account for the 2 interceptions that Stetson Bennett threw, which one of those was Big Six. But that's what I said all along, is turnovers could change this thing. All that said, I thought Georgia was winning this game. You thought Georgia was winning this game.
Without a doubt.
A lot of people in this stadium thought, the Alabama fans that sold their tickets to these seats right over here thought Georgia was going to win this game. I guess Lance Taylor and a lot of people in this Alabama locker room that's right below us here were among the ones that thought Georgia wasn't going to win the game.
Yeah, the national media didn't. And maybe you guys have seen it already. If you haven't, in the postgame, Nick Saban said, a lot of times I've talked about the rat poison and how bad it is for a team. But he said the rat poison you guys put out this week was yummy. He used the word yummy about the rat poison.
Michael, great way, Kelly, great point. You talk about Brian Robinson's rush yards. That first touchdown to Jamison Williams, when it's 10-0 and Bama had to have a play, he absolutely stoned a blitzer, stoned a rusher, and gave Bryce Young time to throw. So, you got to give him credit on top of the rush yards for what he does in blitz pickup. He is so good at that.
He really is. Just a remarkable athlete. This team, he carries the team. You hate to say one guy carries the team, but I don't know where they would be without him.
John says Bryce Young makes NFL-type throws. The touchdown to Mechie that was in this end zone here. So Dunaway and I, we're in the press box, which, as you look, is just right over here. The angle, we could see that throw where he points to an area and it throws it. That was an NFL throw right there.
It was, because at that point it's ad-lib, and he directs Mechie to run to the corner, and Mechie's double covered at that time. And he goes to the corner, and he's still double covered when he lets go of the ball, and Mechie is able to run through the coverage and get to that spot. That was an amazing throw. The deep ball to Jamison, which I think is the one that put the game away, where Jamison catches it on the hip to not let the defender know, because it's such a tight window. He doesn't want to hold up his hands to look like he's about to catch it, because the defender can make the play at that point. He just sort of lets it fall on his hip, and he grabs it on his hip and walks into the end zone. I mean, Jamison Williams earned a lot of money tonight. Bryce Young just got another year at Alabama. He'll earn a lot of money. Who knows? Maybe we'll pay him money to join us weekly next year. Who knows?
I don't know, man. If he's going to win the Heisman, that's going to be a steep bill.
We tried, in all honesty, we tried to get him this year.
Didn't work out.
Wasn't in our price point.
It wasn't, but I think the price point was intentional. And I was talking to somebody. It's funny. I was talking to somebody about that in the press box tonight, an Alabama official, who said Bryce and his agent and his dad really wanted to take things slow because he had never quarterbacked. And this, I think, speaks a lot to his character. He never had quarterbacked this team before. And he didn't want to be a guy that came in and got all the attention and didn't feel as though he had earned it. That's a credit to him.
Yep.
And I think you see the way this team rallies around him. If you stuck around on CBS, we're watching right here behind us when they do the trophy presentation and they ask Will Anderson if he's a Heisman winner. You saw the reaction of Will Anderson and his teammates to Bryce Young. They love that kid, and why would they not?
Yeah. One of the performances for the ages, and to me it was more impressive than him setting the Alabama passing record against Arkansas, and I was there for that one too. Just a special night here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. This is, as one fan, Allie calls on Twitter, this is Brian Denny East. Alabama's really good in Atlanta. Georgia Dome, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, they're really good over here.
Hey, real quick.
Have they lost in this building yet? I don't think they have.
I don't believe they have. They won that preseason game. Or not the preseason, but the early season game against Miami. They've beaten Georgia here three times now, right? Yeah. They're really good in this building, as it turns out. Hey, a stat I never thought I would give you. Like, if you'd have told me before the game that we would be sitting here and I would give you this stat, Georgia's defense against Alabama's offensive line had how many sacks, Jim Dunaway?
0.
The same as me and you. We were tied for the lead, me and Dunaway, in Georgia sacks tonight. That's an incredible stat. That's an incredible performance by a much maligned offensive line and Bryce Young to get out of those situations.
7 days ago, sacked 7 times.
Yeah.
By Auburn.
Couldn't keep him off the ground at Jordan Hare. Couldn't keep him off the ground at Jordan Hare. Out here tonight against what was supposed to be the best defense in the country, that doesn't go down.
I want this to be our show set now. I want us to just...
We're going to have to move to Atlanta?
No, I want us to build a stadium in Birmingham for us to do our show with this as the backdrop.
This is a pretty good backdrop.
Yeah.
I apologize. The audio is not what I want it to be. So I apologize for that, but I do like the backdrop. We need more lighting.
Yeah. A lot of noise here.
A lot of noise.
A lot of noise here because they're getting ready for the Falcons game tomorrow against the world champion Tampa Bay Bucks. Yep. Yes, I am staying the night again in Atlanta. I'm going to the Bucks game tomorrow. Looking forward to that. So.
Yeah. I'm headed home.
All right.
Toby calls it Saban-Benz Stadium.
Saban-Benz Stadium. I like that.
Yeah. Robert wants to know if it matters to you if they can't hear you. No.
You can't hear me at all?
I don't know. Brett wants me to buy you a tall, cool drink. They feel like you landmined this game intentionally. You're going to say you didn't. They're going to say you didn't, but you didn't. All right. That's a lot. That's it. We're gonna tap out of here.
Goodbye, Canada.
You can't hear us anyway. A lot of of noise in here. And we'll be live with you 9 until 1. 9 until 1 on Monday. We're live talking about this game. Don't forget to go to nextround.store and buy those shirts. Nextround.store, buy the shirts. Nextround.store, buy the shirts. All right? Oh, by the way, hey, another great play. Gerard, Bryce grabbing his own fumble. Huge play of the game. Huge play of the game, yeah.
Big play.
All right, nextround.store and get those T-shirts if you want to celebrate. Spend a little money while you're doing it. Culver's brings you the Saturday reaction. They got 2 great locations soon. Culver's on 459 and 150. Dunaway's delirious. 459 and 150 Stadium Trace coming soon to 280, 119 Tattersall Park. Culver's, welcome, delicious. Have a great night. We'll see you Monday 9 to 1. NextRoundLive.com. On the app, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. We'll see you Monday on the next round. Bye.